In this episode, we will try to understand both the Kenyan national flag and the Kenyan national anthem. That is, understanding the items and colors on the flag. Let us start with the national anthem. A committee headed by Professor George Zenozoka Zangi handed over 3 final songs to Jomo Kenyatta. There was a competition. You all know that when they want to start something, they usually open up for people with the talents to try and exercise the artistic power. And the winner, they usually say the first person will get this prize, second person will get that prize, and so on and so forth. But they choose, if it is a national emblem or something, they take the 3 finalists and give them. Let's say, for example, the winner gets 1 million, the first runner-up gets 500,000, and the third runner-up gets 250,000, something like that. So this committee headed by Professor George Zenozaki Zangi came up with 3 final songs, and they decided that these 3 final songs would be the preferred one would be decided by one person, and that one person was Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta took the 3 songs to his Gatundu home. Nowadays I hear it is Ishaweri. Took it to his Gatundu home, called the young kids. He called the young kids and told them to listen to the songs. After listening to the songs, Jomo Kenyatta asked them which of the 3 songs was the best, as though they had planned. You know, they didn't plan. They were just told to come and listen to the song. As though they had planned, they all shouted in unison, Kauka mwisho, ile ya mwisho, or in English, the last song. So that last song became the national anthem. Nothing is ever mentioned of the 2 of the other finalists at all. We don't know the wordings. We don't even know if it is the same song but with different versions. Nothing is talked about them. We are just told that he called the kids and asked them, of these 3 songs, which one is the best? And he was told, Kauka Mwisho, the last one. So the last song is the one which was converted into the national anthem. Concerning the song that became the national anthem, nobody talks about how people came up with the wordings. Nobody tells us how they came up with the wordings or whatever. As I've just said, we don't even know whether the other 2 are the same songs, were the same song but sung in a different variety. When we were doing Kiswahili at Nairobi Technical, our Kiswahili teacher, Mr. Ngugi, taught us how we could sing the same shairi but in a different versions. We had the 3. There are times he would tell us, ebu imba hiyo shairi kutumia. So you find that it is the same song but different beats. The easiest example I can give is the song No Woman, No Cry. Is it Jimmy Cliff who has sung it in an ordinary way? And Bob Marley sang it in a reggae way. The same song, but different beats. But what is known about this song, the national anthem, is that the tune was borrowed from a Pokomo traditional song. It is a tune that was borrowed from a Pokomo traditional song. Who are the Pokomo? There's a time I used to confuse Pokomo and Pokots. Pokots are Kalenjins who are found north northeast of Mount Elgon in West Pokot between Trans Nzoia and Turkana. Actually, Pokots are the original people of Kitale up to 1920 when they were chased. Pokomo are coastal people along Tana River, along River Tana in Tana River County or district. The song that we have as a national anthem is borrowed heavily from the tune is just like that one of the Pokoma. I've heard it a few occasions, and it is just that very same tune. Just like in the year 2002, when Kenyans were singing Yote Yawezekana Bila Moi, but it was copied from a religious song which was sung Yote Yawezekana Kwa Imani. So, if you play the national anthem without wordings and you play the Pokomo song, you'd think that it is the national anthem. Later on, during Moi's tenure, there was need to translate the national anthem to all the 40-something languages. That is when it was discovered that the English version and the Swahili versions are two different songs. They are not the same song. They talk of two different things. So they didn't know which of the two versions they would be translated. Do we translate the English version or do we translate the Swahili version? For example, O God of all creation. If you translate that stance, O God of all creation, into Swahili, it will be A. Oh, for example, let me correct myself. For example, when we sing the national anthem, we say O God of all creation. But in Swahili we say E Mungu nguvu yetu, O God of all creation. Now let us look at it this way. O God of all creation. If you have translated it into Swahili, then you say E Mungu aliyeumba vyote. Now let us turn to the Swahili one. It says E Mungu nguvu yetu. Now translate it into English. It says, "Oh God of our energy." Now, when the Moise Commission wanted to translate it into the over 40 languages, it was unable to decide of which of the two. Do we translate, let's say, in Luhya? Do we translate the English version into Luhya, or do we? Let me see if I can translate the English version into Luhya. Oh God of all creation, ewe rakaba ungona vyosi. And then let us talk to the Swahili. E Mungu nguvu yetu, ewe rakaba weka manikefwe. You'll find if you are Rabukusu, you'll find that those two are different. So they were unable to translate. That is how the idea was shelved. Now to the Kenyan flag. We have completed the story about the Kenyan national anthem. Now we go to the national flag. The national flag has 4 colors. There are 4 colors: black, green, red, and white. If you look at the flags of the 2 leading political parties in Kenya, when Kenya was about to attain independence, they were KANU and KADU. You will realize that it is the amalgamation of the 2 flags of the 2. I have tried to look for the KANU flag at independence, but I am only getting a later day version. If you look at the later day version of the KANU flag, the only difference between the later day flag and the 1963 flag is that the later day flag has a jogo in a circle at the middle. Now, if you assume that the jogo and the circle in the middle are not there, just take the three colors of the KANU and the 3 colors of KADU. They mixed it. Now, if you look at it, the only difference between KANU and KADU flags was in the middle. In the middle, KANU had a red color. KANU had a red color, and in the middle, KADU had a white color. So they cut the KADU color, which was white, into strips. One strip at the top and the other strip at the bottom. Maybe to compensate for the fact that white would be less, then it had to be less by 2. So that is how they came and made those colors. Forget about the stories you hear. At green means the earth we walk on. Forget the stories that white is, in English, they say white in English is peace, and white in Kiswahili is milk, maziwa. Then they say red is for the blood that was shed. And then black they say stands for the African person. The reality is that the 4 colors were amalgamated for the 2 flags. During the time of independence, there were several political parties, around 5 or 6. But KANU and KADU combined contributed to 95% of the population in Kenya. So it was easy to convince. If you make a flag that is agreeable to the 2, if you are to make a flag that is agreeable to the 2 political parties, then things would have worked well. The stories about milk, blood, and whatever, that is just a stories. Kenyans viewers should bear with me when I jump to the part that says stand for this. It is a but first of all, everybody knows it, and 2, it is just a story that was cooked so as to fit the narration of that day. Just like Uganda, if you look at the Ugandan flag has 2 flags joined together. You'll find that there is the color of the flag throughout. It is just repeated twice. The color up, the color down. The color that was there, that the Ugandan flag adopted, was the UPC flag of the independent time. When Uganda was becoming independent, UPC and Kabakayeka formed the government. So the UPC flag was used twice. You can see if you draw a line between the line in the middle of the Ugandan, if you draw a line in the Ugandan flag in the middle, you'll find that there is same color that is on the top part are the same color that are on the lower part. Those are 2 flags which are placed there. And if anybody has ever come across the UPC flag, Uganda People's Congress flag, when Uganda was attaining independence, that was the color. It has just been repeated twice. Maybe to say UPC up there, UPC down, and UPC everywhere. But you will see the Ugandan flag, there is a circle, that has placed a crane, Ugandan crane in the middle. This is something that the British colonialists established three wildlifes to connect with three of the East African countries. It formed three wildlifes to connect with East Africa. During the British time, the colonial time, the Tanzanian flag, the East African flags were the same, only that the Tanzanian flag had a giraffe. So the East African flag with a giraffe, that one was Tanzania. The one with the crane bird was the Ugandan, and Kenya was given the lion. So that is why the Ugandan flag had a Ugandan crane there, because they did not want to divorce themselves from the colonial symbol of a crane. But if you look at the Ugandan flag, the crane is standing on one leg. It means that it is not static. The picture was taken while it was mobile. It was going to move to the other step. Haikai pahali pamoja. As for Kenya, the colonialists gave Kenya the animal lion. But then you find that in the Kenyan flag and the Kenyan coat of arms, there are two lions. Why is it? It was placed there, the two lions were placed there to balance the flag and to balance the coat of arms. Supposing the colonial government had given Kenya a shark, then maybe the shark could have been drawn at the bottom in a sort of a letter C. Suppose would have given Kenya the sign of a hawk. I think Ghana is the one which was given the sign of a hawk. Then the hawk would be placed up there. But you see, having one lion on one side, it would mean that it would be leaning on one side. So they placed there two lions to balance each other. They placed there two lions to balance each other on the flag and both on the flag and both on the national emblem. So you understand why we have two lions there, isn't it? Now we go to, you look at them, the flag and the emblem, you'll find that a cock is prominent. People, if you ask some people, people will tell you that it is because a cock was Kanu's symbol. No, cock was not there. In fact, the cock as a Kanu symbol was taken later. Initially, it was not there. Initially, there were just the three colors of red, black, and green. Cock was brought in later. Uh, I I guess this is the first time you will be hearing of it. Many of you, majority, almost everybody, will will agree with me that they are hearing today's presentation for the very first time. They have never had it anywhere, anytime. So that one I can tell you. You try to, if I know there are many schools surrounding you, please share it with the teachers so that the teachers can share it with their students. It's very important. Very few people know that the idea of having a jogo on the flag and the national emblem uh, came from one Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, he was implanting Luo traditions into the national anthem. and into not the national anthem, but into the national flag, and also the national coat of arms. He's the one who brought there a Luo tradition about a jogo. I want you to take note of the following: that the national flag and the national emblem or the coat of arms, it has cock, jogo, spear, and shield. We have already talked about the lion, so we have not talked about jogo, we have not talked about the spear and the shield. Three things. In Luo culture, when a boy becomes of age and has to move out of his parents' home compound, the father takes him to where he will live, where the boy, now a young man, will live. The boy then slaughters a cock as the initial meal of the new home. The father then gives the son a spear and a shield to act as the weapon of defense in the new home. So, what Jaramogi was saying was that the young son, that is Kenya, was breaking off from his father, United Kingdom, and starting a new life. So the young boy, the young son Kenya, had a cock on the flag, symbolizing the first meal, the shield and the spear for the Luo tradition and other traditions, but this time it was Luo. For the Luo tradition, as a sign of defense. But then, just like the case of a lion, I said that when they were placing a lion on the flag, when they were placing the lion on the flag, they felt that one lion would make the coat of arm or the flag look slanted. So they had to place there another lion to make them two, to balance. So, just like the case of a lion, it was decided that instead of the son Kenya having one spear, the son Kenya would have two crossed spear to balance the coat of arms. Then we have to talk about Harambee. Harambee is so much connected to Kenya that we have the national spirit of togetherness. It is also the name of our football team. It is also the name of the office of the president, Harambee House. And yes, we even have Harambee Avenue. How did this name Harambee come to being? This name Harambee came into being because it was borrowed from India. It was borrowed from India, or it was borrowed from Hindu traditions. The Hindus say Harambee. I think anybody from Webuye knows of a school called Ambe High School. So it is this Ambe that is derived from the word Harambee, or Harambee is derived from the word Ambe. Yeah, it is Harambee is derived from the word Ambe, or the name Ambe. Now, what is Harambee? Harambee is simply saying glorify the Indian goddess Ambe. Glorify the goddess Ambe. Hindus have plenty of goddesses. One of them is called Ambe. So, let me give an example of a Swahili way. Suppose I'm talking in Swahili. Seme, atukuzwe Ambe. Atukuzwe Ambe. For those who know Swahili, you understand. Atukuzwe Ambe. Ambe is a goddess of the Hindu faith. Now, Ambe is the goddess of both. Ambe is a goddess of two things among the Hindu culture or the Hindu faith. Ambe is the goddess of motherhood, and Ambe is the goddess of strength. So both motherhood and strength. So when Hindus, when they want to lift a very heavy thing, they say, "Hail the goddess of strength." Hail the goddess of strength. This motivates them a lot, that it encourages them and motivates them a lot. So when they are carrying anything that is a har ambe, har ambe, and then it became like one word, harambe, 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 harambe. So that is how things that motivates them. I don't know whether there is anything you know of whereby if it is mentioned or whatever is done, if you ask me, a few years ago, you went to some parts of Kenya and said, I don't want to mention that place because I'll be seen to be tribalistic. If you went to certain parts of Kenya, a certain region, and said, this will benefit Agwambo. If you assist me to carry this sack and place it, it will benefit Agwambo. Somebody will come and carry it as if it is nothing, convinced that Agwambo would be pleased to know that he has done that. So it is something like that, but this Agwambo is just a slight example for the lack of a better example. So Indians used to lift such heavy items as they carried them from the ships in Kilindini. If you go to Kilindini from the ship, there is a certain kahil. Nowadays, vehicles which are four-wheel or whatever, they can go down there. But those days, they used to carry things with the animals could not go up that kahil. So Indians would carry that from the Kilindini up to a certain level up, and as they were carrying, they would praise the goddess of strength and of course motherhood. So they would praise the goddess of strength, and it would motivate to go them up. This spread a lot in the coastal region. It spread so much in the coastal region. One day, when Jomo Kenyatta was visiting Mombasa, he was impressed and he made it a clarion call, which spread and became nationwide. If you go to Google and not Google, if you go to YouTube and search for the song Fundi Konde's original Harambee song, it was sung during the Second World War. But after independence, it was altered to fit the new political environment. Fundi Konde was a musician who was employed to go and give the African soldiers morale by songs. So he used to say Harambe tuipige Japani. But after independence, he he altered the song and said Harambe tuijenge Kenya. So he changed from tuipige Japan to tuijenge Kenya. I would request you, I'm sure you have learned a lot. I've even said it and I'll repeat it. I'm sure you have learned a lot. I'm sure you have learned a lot of things for the first time. And I would request that you just don't watch it once, maybe watch it several times. Uh, for example, watch it 5 times and then convince 5 of your friends and even 5 of the nearest schools. Look for the history teachers, tell them to watch this one. And if they are convinced also, as you will be convinced, if they are convinced that the contents are of historical fact nature to especially Kenyans, then they can spread it so that, as you can see, I'm not getting any younger and I don't have to be called to Jesus and go there with all the information. I have to share it before I go.